Good morning. On behalf of the Principal and Organizing Committee of this FDP on Pedagogy and Learning, Mapping New Approaches, I welcome you all to Day 4. We have had very interesting and relevant topics explored and discussed over the last 3 days. Today's sessions will focus on another area of relevance to teaching learning experience, data entry and presentation skills. As teachers, there are various occasions when we need to work with and through technology. For many, the constantly updating and innovating world of technology is unfamiliar and daunting. Often teachers prefer the chalk and talk method. But increasingly, we find that these means insufficient in ensuring student engagement and ineffective under certain circumstances. Our first speaker today, Dr. Rajesh Dharmarajan, is especially suited to talk on this. Dr. Rajesh has been a faculty for MCA program at JNC since 2012. Prior to that, he worked as manager of IT facility management at the Bangalore-based Vertex Techno Solutions. He completed his PhD in digital image processing computer vision in 2020 and his certification in ITI LV3. Dr. Rajesh, despite his unassuming demeanor, is someone who is familiar with technology and always looks for ways to utilize technology efficiently and more effectively within and outside the classroom. Before I invite Dr. Rajesh to take over, I request the audience to put down any questions that they might have in the course of his talk in the chat box. These will be taken up for discussion at the end. Thank you. Dr. Rajesh.
Thank you, Rupa, for the wonderful introduction. I hope I'm audible to everyone. Thank you. All right. It's been a great privilege to be part of this elite group, and I'm thankful to God for this wonderful morning. And thank you for joining me in this program. And on this occasion, I would like to thank Dr. Sister Lalita Thomas and the organizing committee for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Sister, for mentoring and molding to what I am today. Thank you all. Thank you once again. I'm here today. It's not that because I have expertise in this area, and I know along with me there are a lot of experts who are sitting and listening to this program quietly, and I request everyone to support me in this regard as I take you through this data entry skills. Let me share my screen. Yes. Data entry and presentation skills. We are teachers sitting here and we deal with data. So, I know I have a mix of audience. We are from different departments, different backgrounds. So it's a kind of a small introduction on that. What is data? We have been dealing with data for a long time. And before computers getting into the picture, we take information, we write down those things to keep information safe. But again, what is simply data? Look at the screen. Whatever numbers that we have, it's a data, and whatever quantities and information and whatever graph and any fact that we have, any observations, any measurements, everything is data. And we as teachers, especially, we deal with the kind of students we have. Their attendance is an information for us, and their roll number, yeah, it's a number. Again, it's data, and the kind of facts. This particular student is from which place, and all those things. Everything is data. And moreover, nowadays we are bombarded with various other requirements from different organizations and government bodies to maintain a lot of information related to NAC, NIRF, and IQAC. And every now and then you and me will get some sort of requirement to fill up some information so that the requirements are met. So, yes, of course, we live with data, and this is always close to us. Every day we play with data. We have to deal with this data. We can never escape. So gone are the days where we have big ledgers and notebooks to take down all those information, write down everything. Now it's all, we have different applications that are available. What are data entry tools? I have few tools displayed on the screen for you. We can write down whatever we want in a text file or a word processor, which we can take. For example, it's a Word document. We can enter the information, we can draft, we can put our content on that, we can enter our data into that. And there is another thing called spreadsheet. This is a kind of a sheet, where we can maintain our numbers, especially not only numbers, alphanumerals. We can enter our names and all other data, and we can organize it, manage the data efficiently. And there are a few more higher level packages, a database package, a statistical package, and a dedicated data entry system. These things require some additional knowledge to manage this particular tools. Let's come a little closer to today's agenda, today's topic. It's about spreadsheet. What is a spreadsheet? It's a piece of paper or a computer program used for accounting and recording data using rows and columns into which information can be entered. Again, we are talking about data entry. Computer programs that can be used for accounting and recording data. Yes, you can enter your information and you can store it, and whenever you want, you can open it and see. And also you can do your calculations on that. Accounting, in the sense, it's not only for people who deals with accounts, it's for everyone. So when you talk about spreadsheet, it's not only Microsoft Excel that we have is called a spreadsheet, but we have many other things. Look at that. From Microsoft, we have this Excel, and this works in different platforms. I have given you everything. It works on the web and Windows. There are different operating systems. It works on Windows operating system. It works on iOS and Android. And apart from Microsoft Excel, there are various other spreadsheet programs where we can enter our data. See, for example, it's about Google Sheets and there is a list which is given, Smartsheet or Quip or Zoho. There are many applications that are available, especially spreadsheet programs. And we are familiar right now, we are familiar with only one program, one application or one tool. I would say it's Microsoft Excel. This is, this is one tool which is there since 2003. Even before that, it was in 80s, it came into the picture, but not as Excel. The applications were developed in form of some other application called Lotus Notes, and where we deal with um, uh, uh, cells and things like that. Information is entered, but over a period of time, it evolved into a beautiful application. And look at the different logos of Microsoft Excel. We all must have seen all these things, and currently it is the latest version is released very recently. And so we have different versions: 2003, 2007, 2010, and 2013, and 16, and 19. And I'm sure that you are working with Excel to some extent, and I'm sure that you will have any one of these versions on your machine, at least either 2007 or 2010, or if you are an advanced user, you must have at least 2016 or 19. Today, we are going to get into this Excel to see what it is, and let's see within this 45 minutes of time how far we can go into this Microsoft Excel. And this is what the this is what my roadmap today, and these are the things that I'm planning to cover up: the creation, the interface introduction, the content arrangement, sheet properties, file properties, data types, cells, view, review, math, chart, sort and filter, and so on. So this is what I'm just planning to do today. Meanwhile, uh, uh, let me stop with let me start with one little incident that reminded me of many things which is relevant today. Like most of you, even I had gone to my hometown for the Christmas vacations, and in my hometown we have a pond. Right, in my childhood and my teenage, as a teenager, I remember uh, playing in the pond. It's not very small. It's quite big. I have learned swimming over there, and this happened to one of my friends who had visited this particular pond a couple of years ago. As a teenager, this guy is a passionate swimmer. He swims across the pond. He go across the pond, and he enjoys. And now he has become an adult. He has become a big man. Now he wanted to. He was visiting the hometown and he wanted to see the pond, and as the childhood memories coming up to his mind, he wanted to cross the pond once again as he used to do in his childhood. So this guy got into his swimming dress, and he jumped into the pond and he started swimming towards the shore. He wanted to cross by swimming, and he was not sure of his strength now, and it's been years. So as he was swimming towards the the midway, and at some point of time, his legs and hands started paining, and the energy is drained out, and he felt exhausted, and he wanted to take a rest. That too in the middle of the pond. So he stopped his action. He started floating on the water, and while he was taking that sort of a rest, he wanted to check how deep is the pond now, because during his childhood it used to be very deep, and he goes down to the bottom. He touches it and comes back up. So he wanted to try that once, and he tried to stamp his feet on the bottom of the pond. And dear teachers who are listening to me online, to his surprise, instead of touching the bottom of the pond with his feet, he touched it with his knees. In the middle of the pond, he was kneeling down and standing. Over a period of time, I think the sand covered the middle portion, and now it is not at all deep. He could in fact kneel down in the middle of the middle of the pond, and still he could see. He felt astonished, and then he stood up again and he started walking towards the other side. He don't need to swim anymore. He can simply walk and cross. Most of us are not from computer science background. Most of us think that this is a kind of a tool where this is used by only youngsters, or some set of staff who have a sort of inclination towards technology. And few are hesitant to get into this. And few feel that whenever you open a an Excel workbook, you're gone, you're lost. And few even do not and wonder how people work with that. And if I enter some information in some cell, it goes to some other place. I do not know how to in fact manage. And teachers, let me tell you, no more it is deep. You don't need to swim across. You just walk with me. You don't need to expect any mystery over here. It is it does take some effort from your side, some focus, some concentration. That's it. And it is very easy. And that's what I would like to tell you this morning. And I want you all to walk with me through this journey. Let me share my screen again. And I would like to mute my video for a while so that I can come a little closer to the screen and we can focus on the sheet and see what exactly happens. So we have something, some sort of data in front of us, this um, in the form of an Excel sheet. And look at that, it is completely messy. It looks very awkward. There is no order in it. There is no heading. There is no information. And maybe this is already created by somebody. And what if that I need to create a file, create an Excel sheet? Now, so this is my folder that I have created for this FDP. Right now, I'm trying to create one particular Excel file. I'm just right clicking on my location, desired location, and on that drop down list, I see the lot of things, and there is a folder, shortcut, and many other things. In that, I could see Microsoft Excel worksheet, and I just clicked on it. Look at that. Uh, a new Microsoft Excel worksheet has been created at the place where I just clicked now, and it's all about few clicks. You can do all your calculations with few clicks. Now, it's new Excel worksheet. That's okay. But again, see, look at the other files that I have. I have a file with a name, data entry skills, where I kept whatever I'm going to cover today. And there is some practice one and practice two or other different Excel sheets I have in this particular folder. Now I need to give a name. See, when we create something, you need to give a name so that whatever you enter onto that particular Excel sheet will go and sit on that. Now, maybe I can give a name, uh, JNC. That's it. Now, when I double click on that, I have a fresh file which is opened um, in front of me, and I can enter whatever I want. And I can save. And when I close, yes, of course, it goes again when I open the folder and when I click on JNC, yes, I have this file and I have my content, whatever I just entered in. It's the simplest way of creating a file. Now, this is not the only way to create that. Now we can go to this Windows here and even I can type Excel. Now, the moment I clicked, I typed Excel, you see this Excel sheet. This particular tool is appearing before me. Look at that. This particular version that I have in my machine is 2013. And this is not the latest one, but we have latest application 2016 we have and 2019 we have. And even later to that, we have one more version released. Now here, I'm opening Excel in a different way. Now I click on that. So now I have a new file. Okay, it says, look at the file name, book one, Excel. So what is this book one? There is no, I haven't given any name, but it is by default, it takes this particular name. Here, let me write something. Postgraduate Center, JNC. And when I close this, I have written something and I'm closing this file. It is asking, well, want to save changes to book one, because book one was something very fresh and you have entered something. Would you like to save this? And remember, the previous file which was created was a new Excel worksheet. We have renamed it to JNC. So it has got a name, and that is saved automatically on that. Now this particular file is created in a different way. We do not have a name to that. So in order to save our information, we need to save this file with a name. So now let me save, and it is asking, right, where to save your file. So we need to tell the system and the Excel where it has to be. Now, onto the desktop, I have two different folders, and let me click on this FDP. And here I need to rename this particular file. If I want, I can keep it as book one. And also why this is called as a book, let me come to that little later. Now, instead of book one, let me uh, d- uh, remove that and let me give a different name to this particular file, MCA, right? And save that. Now look at that. MCA, the Excel worksheet MCA is saved in this particular folder, FDP. All right, so this is all about creating your file, creating fresh. Now, this is the interface that we look at. This is the screen, um, and it looks. Let me quickly explain you what are the components that are available here in this particular interface. This is the place where we interact. We sit and interact with this particular tool or application. Now, look at that. On top of this, there are different tabs. I'm sorry, I cannot zoom anymore. If you are listening to me, if you have joined with a laptop, I think you can see it very clearly. There is home and there is insert and page layout, formulas, data, review and view. All these are different tabs, right? And file is the first tab. So under these tabs, under each tab, we can see different group of controls, different group controls. Look at that. This is something called as clipboard, and this is about font, and this is about alignment, and this is numbers, and these are styles and cells and editing, right? And like this, uh, when we travel through different tabs, we have different group of controls. And uh, look at this particular portion. I hope you are able to see the mouse pointer moving. I'm just down below this clipboard group, something called as A1. This particular box, small little box, is called as name box. What is this name box? What it is written here is, A1. Excel is arranged in such a way that in the definition we have seen it is created in the form of rows and columns. And see the columns. This is column A, column B, column C, column D. These are names of different columns. Column H, yeah, I, J, and so on. And here, these are all rows. Row number 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, initially in the name box, it was A1 because column name A and the row number 1. This is selected. This particular cell is still selected, and that's why in the name box we see this A1, right? And in case if I click on some other cell, see this is F10. Can you see this thing changes as I click on different places? So it is the pointer. This is the address of this particular location. So the column name and the row number intersects at this particular point. And uh, so there is another location that we need to, another place where we need to know what is it. This particular place is called as formula bar. And here is where we apply our formulas to do the calculations. And of course, rows and columns, and this particular area is the work area. This is where we enter whatever is required and we do all our calculations. This is called this place is the work area. we call it as cells, right? And then if you remember, when I tried to save that particular file, it was it got saved as book one. And what is book one? Because this is considered as a book where you can add different sheets to that, and look at it. There is a plus symbol at the bottom of this particular tab, and whenever I click on this particular, see, sheet one, sheet two, sheet two is here, sheet three, sheet four, and I click. Whenever I click on the plus symbol, sheets are getting added to this particular book. Yes, in one Excel sheet, we call it as a book. And in this particular book, you can have n number of sheets, and you can manipulate, you can manage your data effectively. Now let's practice. Let's go into this practice portion and see some little operations, some little calculations, not exactly calculations. It's all about the arrangements. Now, at times it might look messy. Now, see, look at that. And in all these places, you see, we can understand something. It's written in English, and this looks like date, and this is about city. And look at that. This salary portion, it looks like something which we can't understand. This it's kind of hash symbols that are getting repeatedly printed on that, displayed on that. So let's see why it is. It all needs just a simple little arrangement. I'm just clicking on this particular column name, column header H, and just I'm trying to click and hold and expand this particular portion. Yeah. Now we could see the values. So it's about salary. It's in dollars. Uh, Now, when this particular portion is not enough to hold the content, it displays something like this. So we need not panic. We just need to expand this particular column so that we will get what we want. Now, this name, surname, gender, and address, and all those things, these are all headings. So let us decorate this a bit. We can um, make it bold by clicking Control B, or in the Home tab, in the font group, you see this particular B on top. If you closely see the see my mouse pointer, you can see, yes, now this appears in a different font. It appears in bold. Now look at that. Now there are things. This particular information is, looks like a workplace, which is very lengthy, and this is something very short. Some cells are long enough. So let's uh, do some more decoration on that. I'm just clicking and expanding the column size. I'm just simply clicking on this particular intersection, just clicking and dragging it so that it goes, this expands. And look at that, this email IDs. All right, and now the dates are okay, and city and workplace. Yes, so now it has got into some shape, but even then, uh, maybe we can make this heading a little more bigger. And in the font group, if you see this particular control, decrease the font size, increase the font size, and this particular font style. See, this is Calibri, and I prefer my content to be in Times New Roman. I can change that when I select that particular portion, and when I click on this font style and change to now this heading, the column headers are changed to Times New Roman, and also I would like to increase the font size. Now look at that, that's okay. So if I feel this is something too big, I can reduce with the decreased font size. Now, we can't see the cells. it's all without any lining. It's like without any margin you have written something. Let us decorate it with adding borders to it. See, look at that. In the font group we see different borders. And see, this is bottom border. Now I need borders for the complete sheet. Now all borders. The moment I clicked on this, now I see the complete content. Now now this has come to a proper shape. And look at this. Let me zoom my selection. This is the address and this is mail. Look at that. This is towards its left side. Now I want this address to come to the middle of the column, and look at that. On top of this, if you could see my um, under the home tab in the alignment group, you see there are alignments. Now this is about uh, bringing the particular content to the middle. I mean, and now this is the center. Now, if you want, we can keep it to the right or to the left, right? And however we want. And also, if we want it to be in a different angle, yes, even like this, we can do, right? Now it is in zoomed position. Now I go and let me come back to the normal view. So whatever way we want, we can align this. Now let me try to put everything in a similar way as the address header looks like. So go to home, and then now I have selected the entire heading, and I'm clicking on this. Now look at that, the complete headers, all the column headers become like this. And also I would like to uh, maybe highlight it with a different color. So this is in the font group. You can see the theme colors and also the the colors of the words. I mean, whatever content, we can change the content color of the content as well as color of the cells. Now let us try just with the cells alone. Let's give a different color to this. Yeah, so we can make it to normal at any point of time. Uh, and yeah, let us make all the column headers to the middle. And yes, okay. So this just to show you how you can perform this simple little uh, beautifications. And now you can select a column, and you can bring it to the center so that the complete entire content. Now look at that, all the content, all the information is inclined towards its left, and I'm trying to bring everything to the middle by clicking on the column name, and then when you click on this, it comes to the middle. Right, and it's 9:34 and we have a long way to go. So this is how we arrange uh, our, we can decorate the content what we have in this particular Excel sheet. And if we have sort of a limited portion, we need to align few things within a stipulated. See, look at that. Uh, this company information, the workplace is more than the cell size. Now, there are options where we can wrap this particular text so that this particular content will not go out of the cell, but again, the cell width will be increased. Now, when I click, can you see this in this alignment? There is wrap test. If you just click on that, and it creates a new line, and the content will fall within that particular cell. This is how we do the wrapping of text. And we can uh, copy the content and we can paste it. And well, look at the this is the column tab, and on the left hand side we see a clipboard group, and this clipboard group has got cut, copy and paste and format paint and so on. Now Let us try to copy some portion of that. Yeah, I'm just trying to copy. Copy is, yeah, once it is selected, look at that. This is copy. We can copy the content as well as we can copy the content as a picture. What is the difference? Let me copy that. Yes, the moment I copy, look at that. This is highlighted in a different style, which means the content is available in the clipboard. Now I need to paste this information onto some other location. Maybe just down below this, I would like to paste, not in a different sheet. Now, paste. We don't need to click directly on the paste, but let us quickly see what are the different options that we have. It is not simply pasting. It's not simply Control V. We have different ways of pasting the content in different location. Look at that. Now, under the paste options, it is a simple paste, right? And then whatever we copy, it will be pasted. And I haven't clicked anything. I'm just hovering over the icons in the paste group. And I'm moving on to the next uh, control, uh, which will paste the formulas. In case if this particular cells have some formulas in it, now those things will happen here. And then moving on, this is formulas and number formatting, and this is keep source formatting, which means from where I copied that particular area might have a formatting. So now when I click on this, this will keep the source formatting. And this is about pasting it without any borders. And this is about pasting it with exact column widths. And this is about transport in the sense, transpose in the sense, all the rows will become columns and the columns will become rows when we click on that. And there are different options. I leave these to for you to explore further as we have very limited time. And let me show you one more stuff in copying. I haven't pasted anything now, but since the selected copy portion is still in the clipboard, let me copy this as a picture. What is copying it as a picture? Now, this content is copied as a picture, as the appearance will be exactly like what it is up now appearing on the screen. And in what format you want, I just want to be that in the picture format. And sorry, my selection was not clear. Yeah, now copy as picture. Look at that. Now, this particular content that I have copied, this looks exactly like the original content, right? This is not an Excel. Now this is an image. This is a picture. Now I can minimize this picture as I want, and this feature is very handy, especially when you work on a PowerPoint presentation where you need to bring in some sort of information into your PowerPoint. It will be very difficult to bring an Excel sheet inside, or it won't be very handy. But when you copy that content as a picture, it will be of great help. Right. Um, Let me quickly move on to the sheet properties. There are different sheets. Look at that. This is sheet number 2, sheet number 1, sheet number 3, 4, 5, and we can arrange these sheets in whatever order we want. And I'm just right clicking on one of the sheets, and let's quickly go through. Um, See, this about we can insert a new sheet. We can delete a sheet, right? This sheet number 2, I don't need. I do not have any content. We can delete this sheet. And sheet number 3 also, I don't have any content. We can delete the sheet, and we can rename this particular sheet. And the moment I click on rename, look at that. It is now highlighted. I simply type a sample. Yes, we can rename this particular sheet, and uh, we can even give a different, see this particular sample sheet. Uh, we can give a different color. Look at that. I can rename, I can move this to different places, and also I can give a tab color to this particular sample sheet. Whatever color I want, I just want this to appear in yellow color, and of course I hope you can see that. Yes, now can you see it is appearing in yellow color? Now especially when it comes to neck and other things, you know, we get a huge sheet where with all the criterion. Now in case if you want to highlight, if you have worked on your criterion and you want to send this particular file to somebody else, and you can highlight this, and you can you know, you can highlight this to differentiate this is the sheet that you worked on, kind of. And now there is another important feature then you need to know here is I'm just right clicking on this particular practice file, protect sheet. And now at times we take help from students, and we keep our files in a common machine where many people come and work. And you know, it is always possible that somebody else will think that this is my file, and because we work on same files with same names for various occasions, so somebody else might think that this is their file, and they may overwrite some content onto your file. So this is where you can protect your particular sheet. Now look at that, protect worksheet and content of the locked cells. Now password to unprotect sheet. Now, look at that. We can that will allow the users of this worksheet to whatever looks like this particular sheet is already. Okay. Now I said uh, now I need to. I've selected all these options, and I'm going to protect 1, 2, 3. This is my password 1, 2, 3. Again, it is asking for the password. Now let me close this file, practice 1, and I'm clicking on this again, opening this particular file. Let me try to, I'm just trying to enter some information. It says the cell or chart you're trying to change is on a protected sheet. To make changes, click unprotect sheet in the review tab. You might need a password, right? So once you lock this particular sheet with a password, please remember the password, and and that's it. People will not be able to do anything. They will not be able to sort or select or do whatever they want, right? This is completely locked and protected. Now, let me close this. And we can, in fact, protect a complete work sheet altogether. This is by clicking on this particular file, and look at that. File tab, the protect workbook, inspect workbook, versions, and so on. Now here we can click on this protect workbook, and look at this, mark as final, encrypt with the password. Now this complete file can be encrypted with a password so that nobody will be able to touch that. Nobody able to. Let me give a password to this 1, 2, 3, and click OK again. Re-enter password 1, 2, 3, and yes, want to save the practice file. Done. Now the practice 1. When I click open, it says you need to give the password 1, 2, 3. Done. So this is how we can protect a particular Excel sheet. Now let's quickly move on to the practice 2 file so that we can see some calculations quickly before we leave. Okay. So this is very familiar. We normally do, and there is when we have a sheet, we need to enter the serial number. We don't need to type 1, 2, 3 and so on. Instead, you type 1, 2, 3, and if you, I'm just taking you closer to this particular, and on this corner, if you see, there is a small, so the icon is now a hollow plus, and now when I click on this particular uh, dot, this is called as a fill handle. And when I click on this, that hollowness goes, and it the icon changes to something different. Now I double click on that. Now, yes, the numbers are automatically generated here. Let me uh, view back. Yeah, so this is how we can generate the numbers automatically. And let's do some simple calculations. We need to, these are different, the internal marks that happened in different internal tests. Now, how do we add this? We have simple calculations here. You just select this. I mean, Ankita's marks, I'm just adding. I'm just selecting this, and on the home tab in the editing group, we have some functions. Auto sum, yes. When we click on this, so the result is appearing now here. Now look at this in the formula bar. You see this particular formula is applied for us just by clicking on this particular button. Now we don't need to select everything and do that. Since it's done for one cell, you can just double click on the fill handle to fill the entire uh, column. And now, normally the mid-semester examinations we conduct, we do it for 50 marks, and we need to convert that to 20 marks. And now, how do we do that? It's quite simple that we need to, any simple formulas can be applied with an equal to symbol inside the particular cell. Okay, now what do we do? This is a mark out of 50. I select this particular cell. This is out of 50, and I need to change it to 20. I'm multiplying this with 20, and I just press enter, and now I see out of 50 it's 43, and out of 20 it is 17.2. And whenever I do this for one cell and I want to copy that, I just double click on the fill handle by double clicking on that point, and see now it is, I don't want this decimal points. I have another feature to round this off. Round, and look at that, round number, comma, number digits. Now, so this is the number that I want. So I'm just covering that with uh, uh, a parenthesis, and how many digits I want. Number digits, I don't want any uh, decimal points. Now, this is a round function that rounds me the figure, and the same can be applied to the entire cell. So this is done. This is a very simple calculation for the internal assessments that we do. And this is again a very simple calculation for finding the percentage. Now look at that. This is the value for first quarter, and this is the value for the second quarter. And we need to figure out how many percentage is the increase here, and so on. So this is again another very simple calculation that we can uh, by just uh, pressing equal to, and this value is the biggest value. This value here we need to have open parenthesis. This is B5 minus this value, and we are focusing on the growth, what's really happening, and then close this and divide this by again A5, the first value. Enter. Now, before doing this activity, this is not we wanted. This is exactly the percentage has to appear. Now look at this particular cell, uh, and here comes a data type. Now, look at the numbers place, look at this particular numbers group here. Let us select this. Let me look at the lot of percentage style. Look at this, and there are a lot of other styles. We need to click this to percentage style. Now, see, look at that. When I randomly click on um, any cell in the sheet, it appears general. But when I click on this particular place, this comes as percentage. Now, so this is how we see the progression in percentage. When I double click on that, yeah, see, look at that. This is um, a 10 percentage hike, and this is 40 percentage, and this is 11 percentage, and this minus 11. This is, yeah, so this has gone down. Maybe I can make it to 2000. So once this formula is set at any point of time, you can change your data, and accordingly the cells, the percentage will change. And let us quickly do some more calculations here. um, uh, this is about the different um, marks in different semesters, not different semesters, it's in different subjects. Now we need to find the total. That's that's very simple. We just select this and we have this auto sum. So we have this value and we just double click on this particular autofill and yeah, we get the total. And we need to find the average of this. Any formula that can be entered into a cell with the help of an equal to symbol. Now, what is that? We need to find the average. We have a function average. So the moment we click on this average, for what you need to find average, and number one and number two and number three and so on. So this is what I need from this number to this number. I need to find the average. This is the average. I just clicked, and I've done this for one cell by clicking on the fill handle. I do that for the entire sheet. And now we need to do the ranking. Yeah, I have the average percentage, and then I have the total. Now I need to know the rank. Based on this average, I need to do the rank. And how do we do that? We have uh, functions that help us doing this. Equal to rank. Look at that. There are three different functions. All are from different versions. This is backward compatible. Some functions are possible with Excel 2010, and some are possible with. So in that way, we have all these. Now let us click on this rank.eq, and now in that we need to we need to set, so for what range I need to find the rank. When it comes to this, entering the data might be little tedious to look at. Let us make it simple by um, clicking onto this particular fx. Yeah, right. Now what is that number for which you want to find the average? Okay. Now number to the previous column value, this average value. Okay. And what is the reference? Reference in the sense I have a range from roll number 1 to 20 kind of. For that range, I need to find the average. So I just select this is the range, right, which is J4 to J8. And what is the order on which I need to set the rank? So look at this. Order is a number. Rank in the list sorted descending 0. Yes. So 0 to rank this in descending order. That's what I wanted. So let's do that and press OK. So what happens is this is rank 3. That's fine. Now this is rank 3. When we copy this to the entire cell, the rank comes. But again, look at that. What is this? Do you think three people are getting first ranks? Something is going wrong. We need to review this. So let's click here. And this the range is between J4 to J8. This is J4 and this is J8. Look at that, the column number 4 to 8. And this is J. So this is the range. Now, when we click on this, rank EQ is J4 to J8. When we click on rank number 4, look at that. This comes to J5 to J9. I think we are getting close. I will just stop. Just give me a sec. Yes. So with this, we will close in another 2 minutes. Um, So now this particular range is going out of our range. This is J5 to J9. This is J9. We don't have anything in J9. And also, look at that. This is J7 to J11. We don't have anything in J11. Now we need to freeze this particular portion um, so that the range will be between just between J4 and J8. How do we do that? We click here. We go to this particular area, and this we need to click on the middle of this particular reference, and we need to click F4. F4 freezes that particular range. And when we click on that, so now we get the proper rank. Yes, in fact, there are a lot of things to cover. Excel is huge. It's ocean in terms of the content. But again, in 1 hour, we cannot go beyond this, I believe. And thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity to present the data entry skill, especially with the spreadsheets. Thank you, sister, and thanks to the organizing committee.
Okay. Thank you, Rajesh. So I think I'll start with a few questions that I had. One is, how does technology enhance data entry? For instance, we've been doing it manually, right? So why should we shift to, let's say, the use of digital technology?
See, yeah, we are moving on. Every now and then we get into new tools and other stuff. And especially this saves quite a lot of space, especially when you manually do it. Yeah, the security and safety of the data is not that great. But when we use advanced tools and technology, number one, you save space. And number two, you save time. We can manage the data effectively. For example, arranging the data in a proper way, securing the data, making the calculations very fast. See, those calculations, we do it for one column, and just by double clicking on that particular cell, we apply the calculation to the entire cell. In that way, it speeds up the work. Yes, of course, we need this.
Okay. You also mentioned that there are various spreadsheet programs, right? What is the difference? You've looked at focus specifically on Excel, but could you basically also talk about the other programs, and why would, what would have preference in terms of, as a teacher, managing data, using software to manage, which would be most preferential?
Yeah. See, uh, preferential more than that, what is available to us right now. See, if we use a Mac laptop with iOS, then again we will prefer using those numbers. That's another spreadsheet offered by uh, uh, iOS, and Google has got their own spreadsheets, whereas they have, we need to spend some more time to understand all those things. So uh, Microsoft is one particular organization that has reached out most of the people. This is handy. This is what we have. That's why I have taken this as an example. Irrespective of departments and streams, you go to any teacher's laptop or a desktop, you will find this. So that's why I have chosen this. But again, all these are same in the sense you have some or the other features might be changing a little. We can figure it out if we spend some time, but I prefer this because this is available.
Okay. Thank you. Or what are there any online free? Because most of these are you have to let's say have a Microsoft Office in your system, right? But do we have online free versions available for
Yes, online
data?
free. Yes, yes. I have not listed those things. Yes, we do have free tools that are available, but again, we may not have this much of flexibility in that. There might be a lot of missing features here and there. We need to, you know, put a little more effort to understand those things. But they are quite similar to that. Maybe I don't have that list right now with me, but there are online tools, open source tools that are similar to Excel.
We have a few questions from the audience. We'll start with the question by Sukanya Sagar. She says, we have always been taught that graphs are representation of data and not exactly data. Is that wrong?
See, it's a data visualization. You visualize the data and see. So this is one way of doing that. Uh, Graphs is completely connected to the content what we have. As you change the value, the graph is also that the graph is going to change. It's data. I would say it's data, but again, it's a visualization. That's it.
I have a question from Priyadarshini Pillai. Uh, how many how many data formats can be entered in MS Excel?
Uh, what exactly you mean, Rupa? Data types you mean to say?
Yeah, how many data formats? I think Priyadarshini, can you unmute yourself and maybe ask a question? Clarify the. Ms. Priyadarshini, are you there? Could
Yeah,
you
it's fine.
clarify?
I guess this is what she meant. See, these are the different data types that can be entered. This is a general, and this is number. This is currency, a normal number. It could be a mobile number or a registration number, whatever. Not a registration number, a mobile number, or any value that can be used for calculations, right? And mobile number is not used for calculation. So number is any number that can be used for calculations. This is currency, and based on the region, we can choose which currency we want. And this is another data type where we can set the data to this format to um, uh, use for accounting. And this is date, and this is time, and this is percentage, fraction, scientific, and of course this is for entering normal information, text, special, and we can customize whatever we want in this way. I think this is what she meant. Thank you.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah,
Last question from Dr. Ankita. Are these special functions that you talked about, are they available in all versions of Excel or do we need the latest?
No, I am using 2013, and in case if they have 2010 or 2007, there might be few features might be missing here and there. But again, all the features that I have demonstrated right now are available in uh, all the versions. We don't need to have a latest one. Whatever they have, they can use.
So one more interesting question. That's why just to clarify, Dr. Yashpal Singh's question: can we use Excel for advanced statistics?
Yes, we just swim for that. We need to take a little more effort, and it's possible we can do quite a lot of stuff with Excel. Yes, advanced analyze data analysis can be done through Excel.
So thank you. So I think with that, we'll close this session and move on to the next session. Thank you, Dr. Rajesh, for again starting off with storytelling, analogy of the pond, which I thought was very interesting. It added humor. Also, in many ways, explained the kind of the irrationality of the fear of technology and of this kind of uh, these technologized functions that we usually have. Thank you so much. Now I request
Thank
Dr.
you.
Preeta to take over.
Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the second session of today's FDP. Our resource person for this session is Ms. Bella Thomas. It's my pleasure to welcome her to this session. Ms. Bella Thomas is a certified soft skills trainer and an international emotional intelligence coach. She has been the resource person for several faculty development programs on emotional intelligence in many prominent colleges of Tamil Nadu. Currently an assistant professor in the Department of MBA, Jyotinivas College, her areas of specialization include HR, law, marketing, and economics. A holder of dual master's degrees in business law and business administration, she is at present pursuing her PhD from a university in Coimbatore. As an academician, Ms. Thomas has several publications and presentations to her credit. Her corporate and soft skill training experience is extensive. These include working with well-known management and engineering colleges and schools and technological and consultant companies. Ms. Bella Thomas would be speaking to us this morning on presentation skills. Over to you, Ms. Bella Thomas.
Thank you, Professor Preeta, for your wonderful introduction, and it really makes me good. Before I begin with this presentation today, I would like to thank sincerely our beloved principal, Dr. Sister Lalita Thomas, for giving me this opportunity to be here in front of you. I would also like to thank Professor Rupa and Professor Rajesh, who encouraged me to be as a speaker in this FDP. So I was just thinking, why me? Okay. Then suddenly one message flashed my mind, which I heard in the speech conveyed by our beloved principal on the orientation day. And she addressed two things. Always listen to your conscience and never say no to any opportunity. And just taking to those two messages, I am here. People often ask me, you are MBA in HR, you have done your master's in business law, and what makes you to get certified into emotional intelligence? I believe on one quotation very powerfully, and that's, people may forget what you have said. I repeat, people may forget what you may have said, but they will never forget how you have made them feel. And that's why, my very dear respected faculty members, I am here to give a talk on presentation skills and how we together can create an emotional connection. I believe it that when we can connect emotionally with the audience, we have the power to transform anything, anybody in this world. My presentation is being covered in two parts, keeping in mind the needs and desires of my audience. So the first part is the three amazing ingredients. Yes, the three amazing ingredients. And the second part goes, how to avoid death by PowerPoint presentations. Doesn't it sound wonderful? And these are not my points, by the way. These are being written by a famous author, Mr. David J.P. Phillips. And he says that how to avoid death by PowerPoint presentations, he has given wonderful 5 principles that can keep your audience alive. Now, my next question here is, why did I segregate into 2? The reason here is most of us are comfortable in just having an oral communication with the audience. So they are not interested to use PowerPoint slides. And on the other side, there are many presenters, there are many speakers who use PowerPoint to speak and convey their message. So that is why I have integrated these two points and hope it should serve well for all of you. Okay, sorry. So moving on to the first amazing ingredient, let me tell you, the first powerful ingredient in have been given a scientific structure. A scientific structure would mean like we should have an opening, uh, introduction, body, and conclusion. This is what we have been teaching them in communicating the oral ways and in the written ways. But today, we as educators, I believe one thing very powerful, and that is learning is a comma, not a full stop. And so, in this 21st century, we are supposed to learn, unlearn, relearn, and we are supposed to upskill ourselves so that we are together as one able to scale the skill level of our students. Most of the students, when I used to, they used to feel, Mama, so much I have learned and all. And what makes me so bad here is, my audience don't capture the message. Am I audible there? Yeah. Then I said, okay. And most of the time, they are very good in preparing the content, but they are very fearful. What shall I speak about the audience? Who are my audience? All these questions run in our mind, and we don't know. And hence, we lose our confidence. So let me tell you what is an amazing ingredient here. One of the tips that I can tell you here is the favorite subject about the audience is you speak about them, not about you. And you here it means the presenter. If you speak about audience interest levels, the attention level, the engagement level will be very high. Okay, so what you can speak here is you can speak about their interest, their hopes, their problems. Okay, now I can give you one principle here. I learned it from a very well-renowned speaker, Mr. Dale Carnegie. He said, before I actually march on the stage, I happen to go around and visit few shops, will interact with barber, will interact with the security guard, will talk few visitors, or maybe perhaps I might go and I will see that who are the audience, and I will just talk with them very casually. But this is the technique he has developed, and once he gets all the responses, he is able to capture the attention of the audience. Second tip that comes to my mind here is you have got two eyes, and your two eyes are visible to entire thousands of eyes, lakhs of eyes. Now, how? Of course, that fear will be emerging. So, one tip that I can give you is just look at one person. I mean, looking at one person, think about one person and think about her or his intentions and thoughts, how this person would be thinking, what would be his doubts or her doubts, and accordingly, you can prepare your content. So one of the strategy that you can apply here is when you have to present any topic on the stage, prepare at least, I say at least 50 questions daily for 20 minutes. Not more, not less in terms of the duration, because you get an ample time to prepare also your topic. That's one of the things you need to keep in mind. So if you take that strategy, I am 101% sure your confidence level will be boosted up and you would be very happy. You can create, emotionally with the audience. One of the powerful medium of communication is eye contact. Now here, I am feeling little low right now because I don't like to look into this camera because I'm not finding any emotions in this camera. And so, but because of this pandemic, I am preparing mentally myself. Okay, this camera is a human being. All right. So eye contact here is one of the most powerful medium of communication. And most of the speakers, what I have experienced here is to escape their fear, they usually just avoid looking into the eyes of the audience. They will just look into the surface level of the audience, maybe their head, or maybe when the sky, is there, they will look into the walls. So that's actually not a good sign of communication, because until and unless you do not maintain a proper eye contact, your audience will not communicate back to you. Now, how are they communicating back to you? They are communicating in terms of their facial expressions. So that is what we want them. Now, if we want to improve our eye contact, this is one of a very good strategy which I can share with you. Is next time when you're watching a movie, okay? Next time when you're watching a movie, look into the eyes of the actors. Don't look into their hand gestures, their body movements. Avoid that. You just constantly look into the eyes of the actors and then analyze how are they communicating the message. This is what you need to be practicing. In fact, you can tell this to the students as well. Yes, moving on to the next amazing ingredient is the speaker. Well, when the speaker comes, I know all of your eyes on me. What is that amazing ingredient you want to tell? Because right now in this topic, I am the speaker here. So let's see what kind of special recipes I can design for you. Pitch. Let me tell you one of my personal experience that I had when I was in 8th standard, and that was my first presentation. I was given a topic. Does women need reservation in India? Then I am very much against the reservation for women in India, because I believe they have got a lot of talent and skills, and we can, through our skills, we can build up the nation. So my speech ended like this. I received a loud applause like this. So it's just my flashback memory. I want to show you how the pitch worked for me. Down with reservation, down with women's reservation. Let us vote against that. Women does not need any reservation in India. What did I do here? A speaker has to see that his voice is being modulated emotionally. Now, I don't say that it should be rude or loud, but what I want to communicate here is, if you speak out certain sentences in an emotional manner, we are able to grab the attention of the audience. So now today's relevant example, which I would like to give you now, most of our students, especially the postgraduate students, they go to the companies and they give a pitch. What is the purpose of pitch here is, once the audience have listened to your presentation, they have got all the informations from you. Now, what if the audience does not fund you, or fund the company, or fund the presenter's information? So that is why we need to create a very good pitch in the speech or in the presentation topic that can see that, audience are ready to fund for the company, the one who is presenting. The second one is gestures. Of course, as a speaker, these are some things which we need to keep in mind. Now, gestures here, it means movement of hands. Okay. This actually comes out very naturally. Now you can see that my movement of hands are not that I have mentally trained myself. No, it comes out naturally. Now let me give you one example here. Let's say you're there on the stage, and if somebody speaks, I have a very big idea. Can you see that? I have a very big idea. The gesture is small. Now, if I speak it from my heart, now that's what my main motto is. No, the presentation skill should be emotionally connected. I have a very big idea. So the words that I speak, automatically that big is indicating big. And if I speak, I have a very big idea, it means that somebody has trained you for 100 days to speak like him. So that's the thing which we need to keep in mind. Next is body language. Body language tells you how confident you are. Okay. So I would like to tell 2 points here. The best body language is to keep your arms open while you're communicating the message. It's like this. The don't that I want to mention here is never cross your arms. My height is short, so that's why I'm just pulling up my legs. Never cross your arms while you're speaking and while you're communicating with anybody, because this is a negative sign. Certain people, they put their hands in the pocket, which is also not a good sign of communication. Body language should be, you can just put your hands like this, or while you can put your arms down. Most of the time what happens in the presentation is, when the speaker starts the message, okay, their hand gets trembled, legs started shivering, and they don't know what to do. So the best way, if somebody, if your student is a beginner in the presentation, the best way is your both the hands should be put down. Okay, put down and tell them, teach them, hi, my name is Bella Thomas, and today I am going to present my topic on presentation skill. Now, this message what I communicated recently is, this is the way you can train your students. Okay, those who are not interested, those who are so fearful. So this is one of the tips which we can help them to boost confidence as the body language. So what I want to tell here is, body language should be always like open. Your hands should be kept open. And that's one of the things which I want to convey here. Dress code, I then try to wear clothes which grabs less attention, like more of the, there are 4 signaling colors are there: red, orange, yellow, green. These are some signaling colors. And what happens is that more than your speech, most of the time students, they pay attention on the dress that we have worn. So avoid wearing less disturbing clothes like glittering saris, okay, dotted shirts. The best is wear plain colors, light colors, less disturbing colors. Okay, now that what happens is that whatever you speak in the class or whatever the presenter speaks, the attention is paid on the message here rather than on your dress code. I will tell you one funny incident, okay, that recently happened. Last couple of weeks, I have been wearing blazer. Huh? And one day when I entered the class at around 2 o'clock, I just placed my laptop on the desk, and immediately one student raised up her hand. Ma'am, oh my God, what happened? I was actually getting excited. Oh my gosh, she has got a question for what I taught yesterday. First time. Ooh. She said, Mom, I have a question for you. Tell me. Mom, where is your blazer? Oh my God. I just did not have any answer, but I said, thank you so much for your attention. I'm feeling quite, hot. That's the reason I did not wear it. So here, one thing that comes to my mind is, student may not remember what you have said, but they will always remember what you have, the way you wear, the way you walk, the way you speak. Those are the things that mostly students remember. So I told you about the two amazing ingredients, and the last amazing ingredient that can connect the hearts of the audience is transformation. Okay? What is that? See, this is one technology which is being used by almost all the schools, colleges, conferences, at workshops, by companies, okay, the audience transformation roadmap. You can use this roadmap, which I'm just going to show you, but only thing is, be careful, this is not to be used for commercial purpose. This has been sourced from ideas on stage. Now, what is this? This is a technology. Now, transformation is, it's a U-turn curve. So we need to carry our audience from, on the left side, what they know, what they believe, what they feel, and what they do. Okay, so there are three columns which you can see: before transformation column and after transformation column. So before your presentation, you should know what your audience know about the topic. So here you can have an assumption. Okay, mostly now my topic here is today presentation skills. And what generally my audience know is, most of the talks, they fail. Now failing, what does it mean? I will tell you in my second part of the presentation. Then what they believe presentation is equals to information. They believe that, oh, this person is going to present here today. Now, she or he is going to give us some more informations, which actually I can find that in Google. Okay, so how do they feel? 21st century thinking, okay, bored or resigned. Now, what do they do? Aim to inform, fail to personalize. Now, our job as a presenter here is to take a U-turn. Okay, now there is a difference between believing and feeling. Believing, I would rather say here, I believe that it's lunchtime now and I feel hungry. So that's the thing. Okay, now our job is, once we give the very purpose of presentation is transforming them. It's not information. Our job today as a presenter here, and anybody in that case, whomever we are going to address in the future, right? Our job is that the message should be transformed to the audience. So now let's take a U-turn. Now U-turn, start from the do point. What do I aim to do? I aim to transform, and since I have set my mind that I have to transform my presentation skill today, I need to personalize my talks with the audience. Okay? And then how do they feel? I can see the facial expressions, but this camera is not allowing me to see the facial expressions. So I should know that whether my audience are curious, motivated, or optimistic. Or what do they believe? Okay, since this was the information, now belief here is whatever the content you have prepared, and that, this roadmap can help me succeed. What do they know? They know that after presenting my topic, that is on presentation skills, there are three amazing ingredients. The first one is, that is not to inform, but teach them how to use this roadmap. So brainstorm them what they know, what they believe, what they feel, and what they do. So most of the action strategies we can take from the feeling. Our content can be more designed in a creative manner. And the last column is once they know, okay, once they know that how we can use this part, and once my audience knows that how we can use this roadmap, there comes the transformation. That what actually I know about the topic, what do I believe, how do I feel, and what do I do. That's one of my favorite area. My life, brain was one of the things that I was passionate about, and even more passion that thing I followed was how to avoid death by PowerPoint presentation. Can you see that? You know, I am quite, this is a humble attempt that I have made in front of you. But whenever I go as a trainer and I give trainings, sometimes in the initial years, my heart goes down. Oh my God, were my audience happy today? Did they like what I spoke? Did they really understand what I have communicated? I see sometimes, students yawn and then they check their WhatsApp. What does that mean? That through my message, am I killing them? I don't want to kill. I just want to see that they are even more vibrant than me. So let's see what are the 5 principles we need to know in the presentation. Whoa, this is a slide that talks about UN in Afghanistan. Can you figure it out? So many informations are there, but I'm not able to find out where is UN in Afghanistan or whatever might be the message that is being communicated. My eyes are roaming around all the slide. Red, blue, yellow, green. Okay. Wow, that's a super presentation. Limited text, an image, few words. That's an excellent presentation. Don't you agree? Well, 90%, 90% of what we have said goes away in 30 seconds. 90% of what we have said, if our presentation or if our students' presentation falls into any of those categories, 90% of what we have said goes away in 30 seconds. Oh, that means the person was alive only for 30 seconds. But these are the presentations that we generally receive from students. Okay, they put paragraph, points, all this. Now, what if we cut down one point? Looks better. Only one point. The first principle of presentation skill I would like to tell here is have one message per slide. Have one message per slide. Now, why do I want to tell you this is? Now, I want to tell you one story here. Okay, listen to me. There's a picture in front of you that a group of people are talking. Now, let's assume that they are in a party, social gathering. Chick-chack, chick-chack, right? Chick-chack, chick-chack. Okay, they are talking, enjoying. That's all is happening. Now, somebody on the podium announced, "Hey, Mr. David." He phones, "Oh, my name is announced." Okay. Hey, was it your name? I'm not sure. Now, what happens here is you are speaking to your audience and somebody, you have put more than one message that becomes very distracting. So if only one message is being used in the slide, the concentration is much better. What happens? You are talking here, you're speaking to the communication. Now, other point is also being kept over here. Our brain is limited to more information. Our brain is limited to more information. So that's the reason we need to have just one message per slide. I'm sorry, I must say that human beings' working memory is a little low. I'm being harsh, I apologize. So how? One plus one is equals to 0. Working memory. Now let me tell you one example, okay? Now look at me. I happen to know all of us have traveled in the trains, right? And as the train arrives, myself, including the other passengers, they have a habit of taking the train ticket out, E42, E42. They will look into that ticket until and unless they don't grab their seat. E42, that's my seat. Then they keep it inside. I got my seat. Now, E42, can't the person remember? 1 plus 1 is equals to 0. That's the working memory of human beings. So that's the redundancy effect I would like to say here. Now see here, e-bikes advantages, there is one message that I have kept and it goes with the, okay. Now it's quite annoying. Now why this is annoying is, even if you have one message here in the slide and you are using sentences, sentences cannot boost the memory of the audience. So just use words, avoid sentences in the PowerPoint presentation. Even if there is one message here, but the sentences, what happens is that you are well prepared for your talk. Okay, your goal should be transformation. Now transformation should be what they know, what they believe, what they feel, and what are they going to do. So at least that first one, knowing part, they should at least capture some words from your presentation. Imagine right from morning 8:30 to 3:30, they're attending all these hours of class, and when they go home, they become blind. So imagine how many presentations they might be seeing it. Now, I don't tell that. It is, we are accountable for it. I tell that the same message can be transmitted by our students when they're present in the corporates. So the best way here is use only words, okay? Avoid sentences. Use the PowerPoint as it is supposed to be. So faster. So what happens immediately? My eyes are focusing on faster, safer, cost-effective, healthy, and see that image. And you all know very well the quote here is, an image speaks more than 1,000 words. Now, the next principle is so first principle we learned about the principle of working memory. Now, the principle, one message per slide. Second principle we learned working memory. Working memory, you should avoid sentences in the PowerPoint presentation, use only words. Now, this is the third principle, that is about size. Okay. Now, I have a question. I request that audience should answer me here. Okay. Where does your eyes fall into? Which words does your eyes immediately fell into? Can they unmute? Superb. Thank you for your answer. Sorry? Okay. No, my question is, first of all, firstly, yeah, okay, e-bikes advantages. See, understand the way the power is used in the word PowerPoint. The biggest size is the heading. Okay, biggest size is the heading. Then why do we put so many content into the smaller size? The one which is catching your attention is the biggest size. PowerPoint is just a visual aid. It is not the controller of your speech. Okay, so we need to see that size is one thing which captures the attention of the audience, and that is why it is recommended to use only words instead of sentence. So immediately the 70% attention falls into the heading of the PowerPoint, and remaining 30% of attention only falls onto the content. So use the PowerPoint as it is supposed to be. So size is one of the things which we need to take care. The second last principle here is principle of contrast. Now I know I am mentally prepared. You all will be disagreeing with me. Okay. All of your eyes have fallen into that word of Foster. Now, principle of contrast says that use dark background always. Use dark background and use light colored text. Nowadays I learned the principle of contrast from the saris actually. Red color, black color. Earlier days I've seen that the same colors were being used. Now people have been wearing contrast colors dress codes. So the same way it catches attention. Principle of contrast here is in a PowerPoint, use dark colored backgrounds always and light colored text. Now if I go back, okay, my eyes are always catching the attention of that white colored letters e-bikes advantage. I will prove it to you. Okay, faster, safer, healthier, cost effective, new material, improved fitness, variety of designs, pedal if necessary, eco-friendly. Now, what did I do here is I applied the principle of contrast and I animated my text to see that if I keep all my content also in the same white colors, then chances are that any of my audience, their eyes will be moving in any of the words. So in order to catch good attention of my audience, I applied dark color, light color text, and I animated my text by dimming the other words. So for me, it is very easy to teach and present also. Now, if I want to speak about lightweight, everybody's eyes are focused on that keyword only, and I can elaborate upon that word. So presentation becomes much easier. So audience doesn't need to struggle on reading the entire words. I have another example here. Oh, let me go back. Now, this is one of the beautiful example. Please pay attention how we can learn the principle of contrast here. Using dark colored background, and then now here I have used dark colored. This is one of the table that I have presented in front of you, which talks about some numbers about Rohit, Rahul, Rija, and Tara. Now, as I am speaking about Rohit, Rahul, Rija, and Tara, your eyes are falling on all of the numbers. Some might be reading from 215 to 34. Some might be reading from 215 to 23. Now, I, as a presenter, I only wanted to focus on one number. Okay, so how it can be? See the power of PowerPoint presentation. Now, see, the entire column is black, rows are black. Okay, I want to speak something about Rohit. 215. Rahul. So immediately, if I am moving about Rahul, only 345 is highlighted and 215 has been dim. I have kept a dim text. That's very much, you can use that animation tab in the PowerPoint and select all the content and press any kind of animation you want, whether you want fade in, fly out, those things you can apply. And then you can, there is an option called as dim text. So automatically your text will be dim. So see here, 763. So I can guarantee that my entire audience are focusing on 763. So one of the message that I want to speak here is the principle of contrast controls your focus. 345, 443, 322, 987. So one of the things which we need to keep in mind here is principle of contrast for controls your focus. Now this is also another example of principle of contrast. As I said, usually dark cloud. Now I would like to ask another question to my lovely audience. Yes. Which is more brighter here? Can anybody unmute, and I want the response from the audience. Which is more brighter here, white or black? So I got the responses white. Yeah. Okay. Oh, some say it is black, but let me prove you. Okay. Now, oh, sorry. This is the principle of contrast. Now, which is more brighter here? Audience? Is the man. Yes. Now I'm sure you are convinced with this point. So here, if I see, immediately the white color captures my eye. And I'm able to see him also, okay? But what happens? This white color is attracting more. If I go forward, I'm only able to concentrate, I am able to focus my attention on this man. So that's the principle of contrast to be used in the PowerPoint presentations. So that's it. Okay. Now the last principle of objects. Last principle of PowerPoint presentation is principle of objects. Just count this and let me know from anybody from the audience, we are done. That's all I want to know. Just count this, and there is one button, no hand clap or whatever you want to use the animated sign. Okay, you are done. All right. Now count this. You have counted, right? Okay, so I can see that people have taken time to count it. All right, all right, all right. Thank you. Now this has got a limited number of objects, and I'm sure you must have already calculated this. See here. What does this mean here is number of objects that are supposed to be kept. See the number of responses that are coming up. So people said the number of objects in the slide should be scientifically, it is being proven according to the team and the author by David J.P. Phillips is just 6, not more than 6. Now I can tell you, when I showed you the previous slide, you took some time to count it. You took lesser time to count here. You have put some pressure in your cognitive portion and you used your energy to count it. But when I showed you this one, within your visual, to the moment when you saw this, immediately, without taking much of your cognitive energy, you have just told me that this is 6. So what we want to communicate to our audience is, if we keep only 6 objects per slide, we are able to retain the memory of the audience. And that looks beautiful, and that's most powerful. So see here, this is what mostly, most of us prefer using white backgrounds. Most of us prefer using white backgrounds, which is less appropriate. The more appropriate here is using dark background, avoiding sentences, using the principle of contrast that controls your focuses and using only 6 objects per slide. Having one message. So one message here is I am talking only about e-bike advantages. Okay, and I have mentioned that what are the advantages of e-bike? They are faster, they are safer, cost effective, improves fitness. And there is an image that supports my one message, and the one message here is advantage. Now let's play the game, right? I want to see how many of you remember the message that I have communicated. How many messages are required in each slide? Right answer. Okay. What is that controls your focus? Superb. Okay. What is that should be kept in mind while preparing your size? Wow. What you should avoid in making superb. Oh, lovely. Oh my God. Principle that's dark is, what principle of contrast you should use? Dark. And the last question goes here is, how many objects we need to have? 6. Magnificent. Wow. Okay. Let me tell you the story. I would like to wrap up my today's presentation. 100,000 years ago, we started developing our language. Sorry. 100,000 years, we started developing our language. And it's sound to say that 27,000 years ago, human beings started transferring knowledge from generation to generation through cave paintings. 3,500 years ago, man started transferring knowledge from generation to generation through text. 33 years before, right from the current year, 33 years before, PowerPoint was born. So my question is, what do you think our brain is most adapted to? The answer is in front of you. Thank you, everybody, for your answers that you have answered, and thank you for patiently listening to me. I would especially like to thank Reverend Sister Principal, Dr. Sister Lalita Thomas, and all those who have supported me in this presentation. Thank you, everybody. I would like to, clear your doubts if I can.
Thank you, Ms. Bella. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Ms. Bella, for that very engaging presentation. Audience, if you have questions, you can put it in the chat box. Okay, while questions are coming in, we have a couple of questions. One is from Ms. Naureen Aziz. She wants to know, in the online mode, I think something that you have also been talking about, how do you deal with eye contact? Maintaining eye contact is such a challenge on the online mode. So how do we do that is her question.
Now here, I don't have any technology. The technology is already built in the devices. I just have to say, be authentic about being inauthentic. So here is, I would rather say, please switch on your video so that I can look you straight. That's all.
Okay. This is a question from Shubham Sagar. Is it fair to use dark background in all our presentations?
We can use any dark color in our presentation, okay? And you have the only principle of contrast that we are supposed to understand here is if the dark color background is here, the light color text is here. So you have to analyze where is the focus going to. So I have used the most dark color, that is black. You can use dark brown and all, that is fair enough, no problem.
Okay, this is a question from Dr. C. Pavini. Which is the best font for PPT, especially for online teaching?
That's a very a good question. Generally, we use, I would just recommend the things that are easy to read is what you have to use the font, but only keep one thing in mind. Never use Calibri font. Never use Calibri font. You can use Arial, Times News Roman, because that is what we are teaching them to be professional. Georgia, all those are. So the text which are bold and has clarity, those kinds of fonts can be used.
This is a question from Mr. Manjunatha. Is it possible to apply the principle of contrast in the PowerPoint 2007 version?
See, 2007 version, I am not so sure, to be very frank, but I think colors can be applied in any PowerPoint presentation. So I have not used any special software to teach, to present my topic. I have used the normal presentations which all of you are using.
Okay, what about the use, this is from Dr. E. Karthikeyan. What about the use of animations? Are there any specific restrictions to use animations?
Good question. And there are no specific restrictions to use animations. Animations are one of the beautiful ways to capture the attention of the audience.
Thank you. Question from Lakshina Kanti. Should we use a plain white background and not a design? Should we use a design as a background? I think that's what the question is. Can we use a design? I think maybe a logo.
See, that again, that message, that should be thought from the presenter itself. If you are using texture, gradient and all, you can use that. There is nothing wrong. But the only thing is what I'm trying to communicate is use dark color. Now, if you are using, so one of the slides that I have shown is there are multiple words that UN in Afghanistan. So those are kind of a design. But how are we able to retain the attention of the audience? That is what we have to keep in focus. So the message that I want to tell here is use dark color. Now, whether you are using the texture, there are so many patterns are there. So if the texture is dark colored, and if your text is light, and if the attention is focusing, so you should feel that, you are feeling that, okay, now when I see the slide right in front of me, my eyes are going mostly on the white colors. And I am able to read pedagogy and learning and IQAC initiative, but what majorly is coming to my eyes visual aid here is white color. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have a question, two questions in fact. In the beginning, you spoke about emotional involvement.
Yeah.
Right? So my question is, sometimes in a presentation, you also need to be objective, neutral, be level toned. Okay. At the same time, you also need to be emotionally engaged. So how do you balance between an emotional involvement in your session without becoming unduly dramatic, because that also kind of bothers some audience?
Can you repeat the last sentence dramatic?
As in, how do you balance an emotional engagement with objectivity? Because too much of emotional engagement also becomes very dramatic. Right?
Yeah, so what I can understand from your message is I have been too emotional in my presentation today. Okay, so I actually wanted to, I don't want to kill my audience. So I wanted to emphasize here on emotional connection. But as I focused that, there was one word which I said, pitch. So here it is. You don't have to be enthusiastic throughout your presentation. You have to be normal, and sometimes wherever it is necessary, you can be emotional, you can raise your voice up, and up means it's like I speak in that excitement, enthusiasm. When you speak in enthusiasm, excitement, your energy is being transmitted to the audience. Okay, so of course one tone is not possible in the entire presentation. That is a very wrong way of communicating. So voices has to be neutral, up and down. Thank you so much for that question.
Okay, I have.
Yeah, sure.
Sometimes when you're preparing your PPT, the font changes according to the the design of the PPT used. Right? So that becomes a bit of a nuisance because then you have to keep changing. So is there one way of avoiding that? Can it?
I didn't get your question.
See, there are these designs in a PPT, right? You have certain, you can use certain.
Oh, that background designs,
templates.
layout designs.
Ah,
Okay,
right.
yeah.
So when you change the template, the whole font size, everything changes.
That's okay. What more? See, sir, what's more important here is you can increase and decrease the sizes also. So that is possible. So there is like if you use any layout or if you use any template or design, you have the flexibility to increase or decrease the size. So thing is, why did I show you that? Where did your eyes fell when I showed you that e-bikes advantages? So headline size is much bigger. So everybody is concentrating on the headline. But what we want in our audience is, no, no, this is the headline, but we have to write more about this headline. So that is why that headline only captures the psychological aspect. Yeah.
Okay, I think we are done with the session. Thank you so much, Ms. Bella Thomas, for that very passionate, engaging, and interesting session. And you kept the 1 hour. We didn't know that 1 hour went by so quickly at all.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so thank you so much.
Thank you so much.